All right. Do you know that almost all the cars that we send from America, from Europe, from Asia, from Canada, from you name it, into Africa or the Caribbeans are all used cars? Most of them are used cars. The question is why? We would break down into this conversation and you and I can be able to understand that is it worth it to send those cars back to Africa or the Caribbeans or to buy made in Africa cars? Be with us. We are back again. When I was in the United States, we lined up to the, what's the name? Give me the name. Auction cars areas. Looking for accident cars to buy them and ship them back to Africa. Now, let's talk about this. Maybe you and I can get to a solution to this problem. Of course, if I don't have the means to buy that brand new car, where do I look to? I look at buying a used car, but is it worth it? That's the question we ask right now. You and I can be able to break every piece into this conversation. The first question is, how much do you buy that car? Let's say, example, $1,000. Let's say 1,000 American dollars. You're going to ship that car to Ghana, to Nigeria, to Ivory Coast, to Togo, to Benin, to you name it, for another $1,000 or $1,500. That's $2,500. We're not talking about other miscellaneous. No, we're talking about the price of buying the car and shipping it. Now the car will get to its destination. The biggest problem of them all is not the buying the car or shipping them back to Africa or the Caribbean, but the import duties. That is where the problem is. Imagine you buy a car for $1,000. You ship it for another $1,000. But when you get to Ghana, for instance, you're going to pay double or quadruple of what you bought. Yes. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? That is the question we're asking. If the duty is free or is at least at a price that the ordinary Joe can be able to afford it without any problem, then so be it. But if you're going to ship the car to Ghana, to any country in Africa, and the car will be sitting at the port for months. And remember that if you cannot be able to pay for that duty, the car is going to be on what? Auction. So you took it from auction in the West and it's going to be sold in the auction in Africa. Think about it. Think about it. And even when you are able to, how do we call it? Take it from the harbor, be able to pay the import duties. Now you're going to take it. It's an accident car or it's a used car. It's an old car. Now you have to fix it. You have to make some changes. You have to paint it and all those things. That's a lot of money. Let's take a step further. Let's say you buy the car like 10,000 American dollars. Maybe a nice Toyota for $10,000. You ship it for another $1,000, that's $11,000. It get to Ghana, Nigeria, you name it. And now, the duty may be another $10,000, another $7,000, $8,000. So if you are paying for this, for that little Toyota car, for about $18,000 to $19,000 or $20,000 from the time you bought it to the time it reaches your house, let's say $20,000. Don't you think it would be better for you and I to look into buying made in Africa cars? Let's pause for a minute. Let's pause for a minute. Look at this car here. Where do you think this car is manufactured? Not assembled. Manufactured. Where? Let's say there's no name on it. Where do you think? You might be thinking, this is a Toyota. This is a Lexus. This is made here. This is made in Japan. This is made there. But this car you're looking at is made in Ghana. It's made to be able to stand our roads, our terrain. If you compare buying that used car to this car, I guarantee you it will be much better to buy this brand new car in Ghana. The more we line up to go to all these auctions in the West, in the snow, in the rain, to buy a beat down car, if we can use that same energy, that same investment into buying made in Africa cars, trust me, at some point, the prices of those new cars that are being manufactured in Africa will be much cheaper than a brand new car in Japan, in America, in Canada, in you name it. I remember this guy, the CEO of this car company in Ghana called Kantanka. He said the challenge that they have, the problems that they have, is to get the African to believe in the dream of what they're doing. That is the biggest challenge. He said some people will look at him and say, hey, when is the door of this car going to go off? When is the wheels going to go off? Those are the questions they ask him. These cars are built in Ghana. These are built for our roads. But yet, we see it to be like, oh, this is just useless car. But let me take you back to how the Toyotas started. At some point, with the Toyota that you and I are chasing every day to buy it, spend thousands of dollars to buy, at some point, it only has one brake. One brake. Out of the 4 tires, it only has one brake. So when you apply that brake, you have to make sure that your prayers are so strong that that car will not go into a ditch. It's only one brake. Imagine only one brake out of the 4 tires. But these cars that are being manufactured in Africa, are not like the Toyotas before. You and I should look into buying those cars. The more we involve into those cars, the more the prices come down. It's our own. The government will be involved, giving them tax breaks. Look at in Uganda. University kids made the first, if I'm right, electric vehicle in Uganda. Students from, I think, the university's Makerere or something. I'm sorry if I don't pronounce it right. Makerere or Makariri University in Uganda. First ever electric vehicle by students and supported by their government. Why can't we do that? Why can't we support that mission? Why can't we support that dream? In Nigeria, there's the Nord building buses, beautiful cars. But yet, the African will start looking into the West to buy their junk and send it back home and pay the heavy duty on them. In some of the countries, the cars, if it's older than 10 years, you can't even send it to those countries in Africa. You can't. So if you do, you have to pay exorbitant penalties. Think about that. Let's support our own. Let's support the made in Africa cars. One person at a time. And we can be able to make that changes. Thank you for watching this video. Nos vemos pronto.